All right, so last week I made a video talking about the Miami Dolphins and their free agency and what that could mean for the team's future. However, a few hours after I made that video, the Dolphins traded for Tyreek Hill, which obviously completely changes things. But I talked about mostly the free agency pickups that they made, and I can completely stand by most of those. So I kept the video up. Last week I had a really bad week because every time I made a video about a team, the team basically made a gigantic move in the next hour or two. Happened with the Colts, happened with the Dolphins, happened with the Falcons. It was just a rough week. However, I want to go over the Tyreek Hill trade and what this can mean for the Dolphins' future, because whenever you add one of the best receivers in the league onto your team, it's obviously going to change your offense, and the Dolphins are going to be bringing in a brand new offense, and with all these playmakers they have right now, it's going to be a very exciting season for the Dolphins, and I want to talk about how that could potentially mean that this team could be a title contender. That's a big saying to say, right? That has a lot of ifs, whens, buts, and stuff like that, but the Dolphins have a ton of playmakers on this offense, and it's going to be an exciting season for the Dolphins, to say the least. They start off free agency. Or not they start off free agency. I want to start off their free agency talking about the biggest addition they signed, and that's Tyron Armstead, the left tackle from New Orleans, to a 5-year, $75 million contract. He's a potential opt-out after 3 years. Now, I was surprised by this just because we value the left tackle position so much in the NFL based on the fact that that's usually a quarterback's blind side. Tua Tagovailoa, obviously, is a left-handed quarterback, which means that's not his blind side. But I don't hate the signing. I talked about this in the last video, just because whenever you could add one of the best players at a position in the NFL, you should do it. And that's what the Dolphins did with Tyron Armstead. He's one of the best left tackles in the entire league. And the Dolphins' offensive line has not been great. So anytime you can, significantly boost that with one of the best players on the offensive line in the entire league, you're going to do it. So I love this signing right there. Protect your young quarterback and, give him some more time in the pocket. Another player that they added in free agency was Cedric Wilson. Now, this is one I'm going to kind of turn. I kind of did not like the signing when I talked about it in my first video, but that's when they didn't have Tyreek Hill. So when you don't have Tyreek Hill, it completely changes your offense when you have Cedric Wilson potentially as your number 2 wide receiver. However, when you got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and now Cedric Wilson is looking to be your number 3 or even number 4 receiver because they still have Devontae Parker, I love that signing, right? 3 years, $22 million, opt out after 2 years. It's not a crazy overpay like we saw like Christian Kirk get or something like that. It's a pretty good contract, and it's just adding another playmaker to this Miami offense. And I love the fact that they're surrounding Tua with a bunch of offensive weapons, allowing him to not have to be the superstar. Just he's just going to have to get the ball to his playmakers, and that's all he'll have to worry about, which I think is huge for his development, something that he hasn't been able to do so far in his NFL career. Whenever Tua was coming out of college, we saw all the hype about the tank for Tua. And obviously he suffered an injury and the hype kind of died down. But Tua was really good in college. However, he played on an Alabama team that was absolutely loaded with talent. That happens every time in Alabama. We see a lot of Alabama quarterbacks not even get drafted or get drafted very low because they're not usually the superstars of the team. They're kind of the game manager, and sometimes that's not what they want in the NFL. However, we have seen Mac Jones and now Tua get drafted in the first round over the last few years, and I'm assuming Bryce Young is going to be soon to follow as long as he doesn't completely collapse this year. But if you want to maximize Tua's potential, you should do what they did in college and surround him with a bunch of playmakers and allow him to be a little bit of a game manager. And that's exactly what the Miami Dolphins are doing. With a receiving core of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Cedric Wilson, and Devontae Parker, it is going to be a absolutely loaded Dolphins offense. And one of the biggest things is the Dolphins are bringing in, I think, the Shanahan offense. I'm assuming with the Dolphins coach coming from San Francisco, he's going to be bringing the Dolphins offense. That's what we see most of the time. Anyone comes from that Shanahan system. But the Dolphins, over Tua's career, has not been able to get a run game going whatsoever. So I think it's going to be really beneficial that they try to establish a run game. And I think the Dolphins understand that because they went out and signed Raheem Mostert, who is coming from San Francisco, which I think is absolutely massive for this Dolphins team because he's going to be, familiar with the system. He's going to be able to help teach some of these younger players and some of the other players on the offense in general how you're supposed to do things, why you're supposed to do them, and just overall be another coach on the field. And he's only 29 years old, going to be 30 years old by the time the season starts. But he really can help, this Miami offense get going by being, a person familiar with the system already. And then they also went out and signed Chase Edmonds, who's only 25 years old, going to be 26 by the time the season starts, to a 2-year, $12 million contract. He does have an opt-out after 1 year. But we see so many times in the Shanahan offense doing a running back by committee, and the Dolphins just in general have not really had a running back that's been able to get anything going. So signing 2 running backs that are going to be huge for this offense is just great to see the Dolphins understanding their weaknesses and filling them in free agency. And before they even traded for Tyreek Hill, I said that I thought they had a great free agency. I think they were going to have a much better season than last year. And now when you trade for Tyreek Hill, it's going to be massive, right? This Dolphins team has so many playmakers on this offense. Now, they haven't done much on the defensive side of the ball. They added Keon Crossan, the cornerback from the Giants, and I'm looking at like literally all their free agency acquisitions. That is the only person that they've added on defense through free agency. Oh no, I apologize. No, I am right. Okay, this website got a little confusing. So yeah, they literally have not added a defensive player. Now the Dolphins defense, we did see them really pick it up towards the end of the season. However, I do think that was a lot of Brian Flores. Brian Flores, I think, is a fantastic defensive coordinator. When he started picking up the plays, that's when that defense really started to flourish. So I think Brian Flores is going to have a lot to do with the success of the Miami defense, and now him no longer being there, I think he's really going to be able to, or the Dolphins are significantly going to take a step back. However, I could be completely wrong, right? They do have the players to be an elite defense. We saw it last year, and they're going to be bringing in a defensive system. So we don't know what's going to happen with the defense, but I just want to strictly talk about the Dolphins offense because there's so many playmakers on this field. When the Dolphins are going to be on offense, it's absolutely nuts. But overall, the Dolphins have had a really, really solid offseason so far, and they still have the draft. I know they don't really have any picks now because of the Tyreek Hill trade. I think their first pick is like in the 4th round or something crazy like that. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Potentially, maybe some more trades for them. A lot more time is left in this offseason, so it's going to be pretty nuts. But I think the Dolphins have a real chance to win this AFC East, right? The only competition I really think they have is the Bills. I think the Jets are going to be better. I think the Patriots are going to be worse, but I don't think, the Jets are going to get good enough to compete with this Miami team or the Bills team. So I think it's going to be a race between those two teams, and with the amount of playmakers, the Dolphins offense versus the Bills defense is going to be such a good game to watch. I'm looking forward to that. Let me know in the comments below, guys. Do you think the moves the Dolphins have made this offseason are going to help them make the playoffs? If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.